For the 90-90 hip lift, we're going to set ourselves up in this position here. So Charlie has his heels up on a box or a bench that allow his legs to create a 90-degree box with the bench and the floor. From here, we're going to take a small roller and place this between his knees. We're here using a 15 centimeter diameter roller. However, if you have a small ball or a rolled up towel or a jumper, that will work fine as well. All we're looking for with this is to squeeze this roller with around about a 25% of total contraction of the adductors. So just enough that if I try to steal the roller, I can't get it away from him. So that's perfect there. For this setup here, we're also using a small headrest for Charlie. This just allows for easier inhale and exhale capacity through the neck and the airways of the neck and mouth. Once we've set up for the 90-90 hip lift, this is this position, I'm going to cue Charlie to have his hands flat by his side, and I'm also going to cue him to have 3 separate goals. The first goal is to pull his heels down into the bench. What this will hopefully do is contract our hamstrings and will help us lift our tailbone off the floor. So that will be the second thing we're working on, which is rolling the tailbone off the floor. For this here, we like to cue the idea that if you have a piece of paper, that paper could slide underneath the tailbone. However, once you get to the lower back, the paper would stop because the lower back is down, but the tailbone is up. It is a very small lift. We do not want to over-exaggerate the lift, so just move through that. This is too far. If we come back down to the floor, it is a very subtle roll. That's all it is. The third thing is the contraction of the adductors, which is that 25% squeeze on this roller. So I'm going to get Charlie to relax, reset everything, so relax everything, good. And then we're going to cue those first 3 things, which is first, heels down, second, contraction of the adductors, and third, tailbone off the floor. Once Charlie is in this position, this is where we're going to start our breathing. So our breathing is cued in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we're just going to roll through a few breaths here, so keep going through that, Charlie. So what we're looking for with the 90-90 hip lift is, as you breathe in through the nose, we are expanding completely through our torso. So our chest is raising and opening up, but also our stomach and diaphragm is contracting in order to push pressure into our stomach. So in through the nose, Charlie opens up very well, and then out through the mouth, that reverses. So everything comes down and draws back in on itself. Keep going through, a couple more sets, so a couple more breaths. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. And relax. So for this demonstration, we're going to do 3 sets. So that was set 1. That was really good. This next set, we're going to give Charlie some cues to work with to improve his breathing even further. For that, we're going to try and make sure that every single breath gets bigger than the one before. So each successive breath should get bigger in this position because the diaphragm is in such a powerful position to work, which means more air can come in and more air comes out on every single breath. That's the first cue for Charlie this set. The second cue for Charlie this set is if I put a mirror in front of his face, I want him to huff the mirror in front of him. So fog that mirror up as best as he can. So again, for the setup, we're going to go heels down, squeeze of the roller, tailbone off the floor, and then we're going to breathe again. 5 breaths. In through your nose, expanding, and then out through your mouth. Huff that mirror, get nice and small. Good. Every breath should get bigger. Inhale. Nice work. We need to make sure that we're constantly checking that the hamstring stays on, the heels are down the bench, and that we're squeezing this roller. Exhale. We also need to make sure that when Charlie exhales, the ribs come down and we get a complete contraction through the core musculature. So not just the rectus abdominis, but also all the obliques on the side. Inhale, expand. This will be the last breath for this set. And relax. Good. So for the final set here with Charlie, we're going to focus on one last thing, and that is holding his exhale position for 3 seconds. What this allows us to do is it allows us to enforce the position in which we want to lift in, which is a ribs down, belt buckle up position, which allows our core musculature to work together in conjunction with our diaphragm to create pressure. So again, let's enforce this. Heels into the bench. We're going to squeeze this roller, tailbone off the floor, And this will be our last set of 5 breaths. In through your nose, big inflation everywhere, and exhale, get it all out. Completely exhale, feel those abs turn on, make sure the obliques are working. In. Full exhale, full exhale, full exhale. Awesome. Hold for 3 count. 2, 1, and in again. Constantly checking that the hamstrings are on, the roller is squeezed, the heels are down, the tailbone is off the floor. What Charlie's doing a really good job of here is making every breath bigger than the one before, which is what we want. Full exhale, feel the ribs come down, feel that contraction. We're going to do one last breath. And full exhale. And relax. Perfect. That's how to perform the 90-90 hip lift. So the setup I think most people have right, which is pulling the heels down into the box so we can feel both hamstrings switch on. This should pull your tailbone slightly off the floor. We want to keep the lower back flat, and then you're squeezing something between your knees just hard enough that if someone tried to steal it, they can't take it. The 3 common mistakes that we're seeing, however, is to do with how you're actually cycling your breaths. So as we get Charlie to move through some reps here, we're going to go through the first issue, which is what we commonly see with people who struggle to breathe in this position, and that is that they're breathing too much air in too quickly, and they start to see this very neck-dominant breathing pattern where the neck rises up, we get a very sharp increase in superior movement of the rib cage. So the first thing that we want to see is just slowing your breath down to maybe like a 4, 5, or 6 second inhale. Whilst that's occurring, you should be focused on trying to expand in every direction. Chest should rise, stomach should rise. We should feel some pressure building on the sides through our obliques and the lateral rib cage. So we're getting complete circumferential expansion. So number 1 is just slowing your inhale down a little bit to enable you to focus on expanding in every direction. The second 2 issues that we see, or the most common issues that we see, is to do with the exhale and where we're finishing in our exhaled position. Number 1 is that most people just don't get enough air out. We get most of the benefits of the 90-90 hip lift when full exhalation has occurred. So let's go through Charlie here. What we typically see is people breathe in. We'll use the better strategy, nice slow inhale. But as they exhale, it's just like a 50% exhale. And then they'll breathe in again. And we're never really getting full exhalation. So what we want to see as Charlie exhales is again a nice, long, slow, forced exhale. And what this allows is the 3rd common mistake to occur, or the 3rd common benefit that we're missing out on, which is getting the ribs, exhale, in full internal rotation. So we're getting to a complete ribs down position. What we get in this final position is we should get complete oblique contraction, so we get both the lateral sides of the ab wall switching on, and we should get a complete closure of the rib cage. So nice, long, slow inhale, and then a big, forced, open huff to get every last drop of air out. In that final position, we commonly coach for you to just hold that position. If you want to send us videos of how you're executing the 90-90 hip lift, go for it. Just DM us or send us on an email. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll also put the link to our original 90-90 hip lift video that if you want to go and have a look at that, you're more than welcome to. That will be down below. As always, like, subscribe, comment, anything you want to say. As always, happy lifting and welcome to the culture. Nice.